now someone's coming to stage.
mondjuk, hogyha a lootról lenne szó, mit vinnél haza legszívesebben?
Well, for now though, we have a pretty good mix of nationalities in the
Top 10.
In the top 10, I believe. But aside from like a single or two Hungarian teams doing good, a single or two Polish teams doing good, it's pretty much the Czech domination, to be honest,
And
in the numbers out there.
And I think because the amount of teams in a tournament is even. So there's like around the same amount of team of Czech, Polish, Hungarian and Slovakian.
Yeah.
So I'm really amazed how Czech, they're doing pretty well.
Yep.
Even though they're not taking the first and second place for now. But those players are showing some pretty good gameplay right now.
Yeah, for sure. And, well, just patience, just a little bit more time, and maybe some of them will climb up to that first place. Well, definitely, Arctics is one of the fan favorites if we're talking about the Czech players. But on this last game, killing his own teammate, actually not looking too fortunate. But still, some good placements, some good elims, and just overall a nice performance. So
I wonder if it was calculated sacrifice. Like he was like, you know what? I'm just gonna sacrifice it for the greater good.
maybe his teammate was like, "Oh, go with the drunk riffs, go with the drunk riffs. We're gonna get some elims. I don't care."
Yeah, well, it did work out well for him, but I mean, I get the idea. I understand what was the point. It's just I think he was in his head. It looked a bit different.
Yeah, might very well be.
Yeah.
So well, coming back to Arctics, I feel like this game was definitely quite good for him. Like overall, if you want to get yourself up in these standings, that's a good start.
Yeah, and
It's
especially
definitely something to bounce off of. Like when you go into the break right now, you're talking with your partner. You know, you had a good game, and it's good. Just stick to the plan. Just continue like that, and it will be perfect.
especially they were not performing great in the first 4 games, and coming back after the break and having a second place straight off the bat. Like you coming in after the break, first game, boom, second place with some elims. That's a nice morale boost. Like you start believing yourself, like you can do it. Like you can get better and better and better right now. So I'm hoping for him, I'm rooting for him that he will just get it now, perform better, and maybe just reach the top 5.
For sure. And it's not like they weren't completely non-existent in the first games. They did also get some okay games back there. I do remember seeing them, and some of them. So a good game right here, some consistent games before the break in the first 4. I think they might be somewhere up there in the standings. Maybe not in the top 10, but some couple of points away.
Yeah, I think they're just if they are not in top 10, they're just like 2-3 points behind. So because as we can tell, the difference in points is not huge. Like everybody is pretty close to each other, so everything is open for them.
That's very much true, and I mean, just it is also a little bit like unsettling for me from the observator's point of view. Like, you know, everybody's so close. In some tournaments, it's already decided after 2 or 3 games that yeah, we know that he's gonna win this. It's just he has to finish the games off. But right here, anything can happen. I don't know. Like even the guys from the 10th place can still jump to the first. The guys that are in the first place after 2 more games cannot even be on the standings right here.
And that's what I would love to see in every single tournament, that till the very end you are not sure if you're gonna win or not, because that keeps the suspense. For example, as a viewer, somebody who enjoys watching tournaments like that, that's great, because watching a tournament and knowing that halfway through you know that this team's gonna win is not fun.
I mean, yes, on one hand, the suspense is kind of nice, but then on the other hand, like imagine being Buga on the World Cup or something like that. You have that one guy at the very top, and you know he's gonna win, but he wins because he's playing amazingly, and you know that you have this one guy to watch who's always gonna run over every single enemy that he meets. He's gonna play so superbly that you're just gonna wonder how the hell in the world he does that. And right here, we do not have a team like that. We do not have a team that does everything clearly,
No, no.
cleanly, and controls every single game. It is a little bit messy for everyone. Like this time, the Slavjan guys didn't even make it to the later zones. Every now and then we have Dext right now doing pretty good, but then in the previous game
Yeah.
they got stomped down by mechs. So I think that a lot of this is because of the brutes. Like if we're talking about the Slavjan guys, they got stomped by the brutes this game. Mozart actually killed Mumindu, so Kevin was left alone. If we're talking about Dext, he was also
Stomped by a
eliminated
brute,
by a brute. So
they've got a very huge impact. The Brutes got very huge impact in those first 2 zones when you're still rotating, when you start trying to get those mats and figuring out what's the plan for the latest. And you usually don't really focus what's going on around you because you're thinking, all right, we have to take this position because the zone's going to go that way or whatever.
yeah, and you have a random encounter with the mech.
Exactly,
and
and
everything
you're
ends.
like, yeah, exactly, and you just don't really know what to do because you cannot really outbuild the mech. You cannot do anything on your own against the mech.
Especially 2v2 is really hard. Like in solos, dealing with a mech is not so bad because you can either just control it or shoot with it. Or you can just try to get in and self-destruct, but even if you don't do that, you can probably spray the guy down. Either he's completely immobile or he's really exposed to your shots. If you're playing in a trio setup, then obviously they can control the mech very well, but you have 3 people, so like the amount of damage that you can pack in a short amount of time could be enough to just destroy the mech in time. But in duos, it's just perfect. They are perfectly covered. Both of these guys, like one has a shield and the other guy can just move around, so you don't have the time to just spam them down. Especially in this situation when you have to take a lot of time to farm up the mats and to worry about only this. For the most part in the early game, you don't really have a lot of ammo, so you cannot really spam that down because you're gonna use up all your resources, and you also don't get the shields for eliminating the guys in the mech. So, like, it is not so profitable to actually deal with them.
And I think it's people start realizing that taking a mech at the beginning and trying to make this early aggression is very efficient for them.
Yeah.
Because like 95% of the opponents don't have resources to deal with you, because there is like the chance that you will meet under mech in the same spot is very low. So when you are trying to, like, for example, I think it was game 4 or 3 when Duo, like, they had an encounter, they had 2 versus 2.
And Fatal Fields,
And then Fatal Fields, they had 2 versus 2. They won that skirmish, and then mech, out of nowhere, best stomp, done.
Yeah, they eliminated one guy, so 3 people were left, and the mech comes in, gets 3 eliminations.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
And we've got our leaderboard, and surprise, surprise, Dex and Phoenix back.
Phoenix back in the first place. Insane. That's very good for them. I'm pretty happy, actually. We got to know them quite well.
Exactly.
Throughout all that time.
Who's new? Fajnicek and Morix, they just appeared out of
kind
nowhere.
of out of nowhere. I did see them getting the elims.
Yeah, I've seen them but they've never been in top 10.
Games, yeah, but they've not been
same
up
to
here.
Sky as well. He's in top 10 again. I mean, not again. He just appeared on top 10 after the last game, which performed well, and then that was the guy who made Jacob and Beznikos just run away out of here against
all
him.
of them. So he's going snobby, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, they are going snobby.
If they are still going snobby, right?
And I think we are ready for match number 6. We see on the screens of the players. I don't know if they're on a starting island already landed, but I think we should.
I think they might have already landed because of how focused everybody is. Like, nobody's looking around and looking kind of bored, but everybody's really
they are already in the game.
So they're already looting.
Match number 6.
Let's go. 3 maps left, including this one.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
still quite a bit can change, but
I think they're not playing it. I'm sorry.
Wait, what?
Because I've seen there's a guy missing. Oh no, there's not a guy missing. I was thinking there's a guy missing in the chair. But I've seen just some people walking by.
No, I think it's just a restart, actually, because the referee is just walking behind them and telling them to get out of the game. So, yeah, most likely it is going to be a re-queue. No idea what the issue was.
But it had to be huge because
maybe a lot of the players didn't get into the game or something.
yeah. So we have to wait a bit more. So unfortunately, guys, we have to wait a little bit more for the
But
quick restart.
I'm quite sure we did see some people on Snobby, right? Like when the camera was
Yes,
going
yes,
through,
there was some
some
people, yeah.
Snobby, there was some Dusty,
So
something like that.
and Dusty is a very interesting location right now.
Yeah, I would also use the word interesting. Like,
Because
what
there
do you
is
think?
not a lot of resources. I mean, I don't know if it's an efficient place to go because you've got what, 5, 6 chests there.
But you have some. If we're talking about chests, then yeah, maybe the lack of loot. But for a duo, it's not like horrible. It is okay-ish.
Yeah, okay-ish. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the resources, like you've got some pallets there, so you can get some wood. But the metal and the stone is not that
I mean,
easy to get there.
yeah, not that easy. Exactly. Like you do have it there.
Yeah, but
but
it's-
if you want to actually spend the time to farm it up, you're gonna use up so much time.
Yeah, exactly. I remember the guys going with the like before the patch when they and we back to the
Right now, the
leaderboards.
difference between the first and the 10th is actually getting big. It's like
Yes, 20
21
points. 21
so
points. It
that's
was
pretty big.
19 before that game. So it's but we've got another Hungarian team showing up on the top 10.
Yeah, they were already there in the previous match.
Were
That's
they?
the guys
Were
that
they
I was
based?
talking about, Sava
Oh.
and Isten. Here they are. I don't think we've seen them
We haven't seen them on
in
screen.
the game, actually.
We haven't
No,
seen them on
no.
screen or anything. But the top 3, the top 4 basically looks all the same. It's Phoenix, Novak, Slavgent, and Martinho. Just switching the position all the time. Yeah, the Slavgent guys didn't get any point last
Nova
game.
and Biko actually with the most eliminations by far, right?
28,
here
that's
on the
impressive.
standings.
5 games, 28 elimination, that's huge.
Especially since the eliminations don't really profit you so much as they would in an arena. You don't get bonus mats, you don't get bonus heals. It's very risky, but they obviously grant you the same amount of points. So 28 points from these elims.
And
That's pretty good.
Funny to say that the first team, Phoenix, they won 2 games, and Pico and Nova didn't win a single game.
Yeah.
And the difference is only 3 points between them.
And that's true.
That tells you that the placement doesn't really matter in those games.
Yeah,
And
and
we've got a prize pool.
prize pool
That's what we-
distribution.
yeah.
Actually, the 15th place already gets some pricing
This is-
right here. And we get 5,000 for the first place, 3.5 for the second, 2.5 for the third, and then it just gets smaller and smaller right here. But still, remember that it is between 2 players.
Exactly.
And overall, 30,000 euros in the prize pool for the entire event right here in Budapest.
Exactly.
Looking
And
pretty good.
yeah,
I mean, some people might be used to some huge prizes from official Epic tournaments, but you have to remember that this is an independent kind of thing.
exactly.
Obviously, it is featuring Fortnite with, I believe, Epic Games supporting it a little bit, but still, it is a great thing that it is somewhat of a local tournament. I mean, it's 4 countries
So
participating.
it's not like a huge major thing in the whole Europe as
Yeah.
well. But let's face it, 30,000 is not a small amount.
For sure.
Like I could change my life with that money. So if they won, I don't think that anybody would complain after they win this tournament that it's not enough money for them.
Definitely not.
Uh,
Definitely
so-
not. But maybe for some like viewers from,
Yeah,
from
for the-
outside
yeah.
of it, or somebody that we would try to convince to watch this tournament, they would be like, oh, but in Epic tournaments every week we got more. But then you have to fight actually 200,000 different people in an open tournament, and you
exactly-
have to
and
get
it's-
through like X times more stages and stuff like that.
There's
right?
more chance you're gonna win some money on this tournament rather than on the epic one because of the amount of people you have to play against.
That might be true, actually.
Yeah.
That might be true.
And we've got Abel, who's landing on the
Wait.
gas station.
Right away,
And
actually.
they've been
Romeo
contested
gets
straight
just
away.
finished off. And actually, Kuchta, he was the first guy to die on like 50% of the games today at least.
Was serious? I didn't pay
Yes.
attention.
Actually, Sky that we were talking about is his is also from Churak, but he's landing Snobby.
yes,
So
yeah,
this
yeah,
is the
yeah.
guy from the other duo. So we were always
Oh, yeah,
wondering
yeah.
when we were watching fights and Snobby, he was the guy who just died all the time. So
That
here we
explains a
go.
lot, yeah.
We know
So-
where he lands, and we know what is happening right here. Some huge contest on a very
Ooh.
small landing, and Hazard is his teammate, and he's gonna get the finish on towards Abel.
I'm surprised how stubborn they are. Like, imagine going to the same spot 6 times and fighting the same guys over and over and over again.
Yeah,
That
imagine.
Yeah, imagine.
And imagine it finally working out for them.
Yeah, it's like-
Congrats, congrats. Maybe, well, maybe they will get into the end game and now completely demolish it. That's what we were talking about before the break. Like, there can still be some teams that we didn't even know about at all because something was just not clicking for them, and now they will show up. Maybe
Everything
that's
will
the
turn
team that
around
we're
for them.
looking for.
To be honest, I'll be shocked if they just like from this game, so this game and 2 next games, they will just dominate, get first place and win the tournament.
What
I'll
a
be like,
comeback story would be,
oh my god.
right?
I would even go after this to Budapest just to shake their hands. Just, I'll be amazed. And I-
Algard right now on Pleasant Park.
so they
Isn't this
can't-
another team that was landing winter all the time? I believe so.
I don't remember.
I think they went
Yeah,
once
they
or
went
twice towards Spanish Factory.
Yeah, they were on the Swedish Factory. Yes. They were on the Swedish Factory. I believe in the first and the second game they were in a Swedish Factory. Then they just left and went somewhere else.
And you also mentioned that Jacob and Besnikos went down very early in the previous game. Were they the ones that
No. I
eliminated
don't
them?
remember the nicknames, but they were not the other guards.
So do we have even more people all of a sudden on Pleasant Park? Maybe indeed during the break people like looked at the stream and were like, oh my god, Pleasant's completely uncontested with only these guys out there. Well, and they are in the top of the standings.
Yeah,
Let's try and break the game for them and build it up for ourselves.
And Vajnicek just got eliminated,
Oh.
so the team from top 5 just got eliminated. So basically for the past 2 games, we've got a team who's in top 10 getting eliminated very, very easily at the very beginning. So that's something weird. Like, I mean, oh my god, this old for the guys. Oh, they're gonna have quite a
But
run.
a lot of these houses around here actually have hoverboards, and he's got one for himself right next to him too, so it's
But
gonna be fun.
that's as well a very weird landing spot.
Very safe, I would definitely
yeah, and
say.
like because it's so way out of way, but as well it's so spread out the loot that. Oh, and in the meantime, the Hazard fighting, so they contesting another team.
So right away,
Is it Medu and Matthews though?
after looting up whatever they had right there, they instantly go into another fight. Well, now we know why most likely they're probably dead in every single
Yeah.
game, right? They're trying to play it out a little bit too aggressively maybe, but still, actually that's not even where the zone goes. They just decided to go Fatal for some reason, most likely because they wanted some loot and mats. I mean, let's take a look at where they are fighting. They're fighting on the quarry. That's where you can get a lot of stone, and especially in a regular game mode like this, this amount of stone can even cap up one of your players, which is something that you don't normally see in these games.
And Hazard right now, 13-1, he can just put one mat, I mean one wall or anything. So, oh no, never mind, they just swapped the...
You just swapped the
yeah, I was
players,
like, so that's very risky. I mean, do you think they doing this because they are like on the very bottom of the leaderboard and they're trying to just get the elements to get the points?
Oh, I really think that the second thing that I said is a little bit more like valid. That they were just trying to get some mats out of here, but they were stopped by
Ooh,
another team
Kusta
that was
is
trying to
getting
farm it
mowed
up.
down.
1 HP goes down, and just as Hazard actually, and that's gonna be Vegeta and Lacey share to get these 2 eliminations.
And I
But they
think-
won't really get much out of these eliminations.
No.
Like they will pick up maybe the items. Okay, so this epic assault rifle is gonna be fine. But other than that, they have no mats. They have pretty much no heals. They have no ammo.
And they lost, they waste so much time and they have to go to the zone, which is far away. So we'll see how it worked out for them, if it was worth it fighting or not. In the meantime, Jorvet, full maxed out on wood. Pretty, I mean, not hard materials gathered, but well, at least he's got 1,000 wood, so it's fine for now.
Yeah, even if you don't really have those hard mats, it's still pretty good that you have any mats at all, like compared to some other teams right here.
And in the meantime, Froxy, and I think they're being contested as well by the dead body of the monster. We'll see. That's a weird bubble as well.
Just trying to protect themselves as much as possible, thinking that maybe some stinks are not going to go through, because I believe that I saw some stink grenades going off right next to them. Actually, just take a look at the kill feed.
Yeah,
Barnabas is going to go down to Cody, but he's going to get the yellow with the trap, and is probably pretty happy about that. I think he did not get finished off.
No, I think there was just like 2 versus 2, and then one they just knocked each other.
Yeah, so Cody got finished off, and Barnabas most likely is out there somewhere on the ground still. So this fight is probably looking good for his teammate. Anyway, though, the zone is pretty bad for the entire, like the winter and the desert area, and we know a lot of teams that are landing winter. Actually,
yes, we know.
We were even spectating a couple of teams right here in Zeet. And
just finished Kevin,
Alpha.
but before that, Mumindo knocked Alpha, so there's 1 versus 1. And I wanted to remind, I mean, I've noticed last game, there are response buses.
Okay.
I've seen
that's
one on
what
Lucky
I thought.
Landing.
Like, that's what I thought. Maybe they're not showing up on map, but... Oh, wait. Does the junk rift go through the bubble?
I've got no idea. I would assume not.
I don't think it did, because we would see it somewhere down here, so it probably cracked against the bubble or something like that.
And knocking down Alpha again, so there's a fight still going on.
There's a box fight most likely, and he's just trying to take control and just not allowing them to pick themselves up, but he's probably also not able to.
Oh, Mumindo just died as
finish
well.
off Zeet. Yeah, he's gonna go down to Zeet, but this is a good story between these two teams, like Zeet and Alpha versus Mumindo and Kevin. They've been fighting over and over and over since the very beginning.
And then Mumindo just got killed on the
in the
Zeet
storm. Oh my god, that's the worst for both the teams, because both of them are wasting a huge amount of points that they could be able to get in this entire game. Instead, they just fight it out until they both bleed out in storm.
I wonder if they feel right now like it wasn't worth it at all. I mean,
Probably.
fighting a storm is so not smart, let's face it. Because you're wasting your time, opponent's time, you're wasting mats, and you have to rush toward the zone where there's already somebody waiting for you.
Yeah, that's actually also what I talked about, what I touched on a little bit earlier. Like, the best teams are able to play aggressively because they know how to close out the fights very quickly. Like, they're mechanically skilled enough, they know how to do it, they have the wits, and so on and so on. And right here, Kevin and Mumindo, what I saw from their fights is that the problem is they don't fight too quickly. So if the zone is very far out, they're going to struggle a lot. They're not really going to close it out, and it might end up like this. Actually, we see the placement from Era of Death, and it wasn't too worth it, actually. Flying outside at the very edge of the map, getting as many mats as possible, getting as much loot as possible, instantly getting finished off as they get to the
coming
zone.
in, bang. But they didn't get lots of mats from them as well. They are barely having any mats as well, Morton and Richard.
I think maybe the other guy picked it up. I'm not too sure anyway, though. But this is how they do, right?
Yeah, they come
In every single game that we'd seen them, maybe even one game they had some mats, but in every single other game, they were fighting, they had no mats at all, and it ended up being their biggest problem.
I was thinking that maybe they come with the conclusion that well, maybe we should start farming some extra, but seems they just hoping still for the people to give them free the mats, because Mocasz.
Oh, he has even less.
Yeah, so it's just I understand at this point, like what is their plan for the game?
Well, talking about Alpha and Zeet, I'm not too sure how they did in the previous game. But for Kevin and Mumindo, actually, going down right now probably means that they're losing their chances of getting a big chunk of this prize money.
They only got 2 eliminations this game, so they're going to be 47 points. And we haven't seen either Nova or Pyko or Fenning decks dropping down, so they're going to just advance with the points all the time and making this difference between them. And Nova is just looking out and eliminating somebody. So in the meantime, Richard as well, just making.
Yeah, very well played actually by these guys. They just waited underneath a man, and well, they saw the opportunity, instantly knocked him down into a trap. And that's a free ELM right here. And this seems like they just want to play so aggressively. Like they go into a team, they group up, they go into another team.
I think they've noticed that the people who get like we talked at the beginning of the tournament, if the people is gonna play very defensively and every aggression will be very stressful for them, and I think that's what they're doing right now with Tash and Richard. Just trying to play so aggressive that the people will be afraid of them.
Right now, the RX, the Beast, was able to bring the mech down, but he lost his teammate in the meantime, and he himself is not doing too well. And the other problem with Brute is that even if you destroy it, the guys that jump out of it are on full health, are on full mats, and the fight just pretty much begins for them. While you are completely exhausted by what was happening.
Yes.
Until this time, and Mozart Richard still on about 400 mats. It's not looking any kind of better for them, even though they got some limbs.
Yeah, and in the meantime, Phoenix just eliminated Mortinu, so it saved a little bit Momindo and Kevin because they were just behind them. So if they didn't get any points, that's great for them.
It is a pretty interesting zone. It is the first time, definitely, today that we're seeing a zone in the jungle.
Oh yeah, it is, true.
And it's right next to pressure plates. Well, fortunately enough for the players, it's not going to end up on pressure plate. Unfortunately for us viewers, it is
that
not
could
going
be
to end up
that
there,
could be
because
interesting.
that would be really funny. Yeah, still, it is an interesting zone. Like, it's not completely flat like it was in the previous game, but it's not also up a steep hill like it was in some other games, up Polar Peak or whatever when it was next to Greasy Grove. It is a pretty healthy zone, I would say.
Yeah, and Beast, I mean, Dave just eliminates Beast. I mean, he didn't have any mats, so he couldn't do this too. He was just looking for something, but
look at Dave's mats. That's exactly what I'm calling a
that's how it's
solid
supposed to be.
equipment, right?
I haven't seen a single team in those 6 games who had maxed out mats.
Well, I think we did see a team once where they had a cap of wood and a cap of
Yes,
brick.
we did. Yeah, but
Yeah,
and that's it.
Once,
Yeah,
but that was once.
and nothing else. Like usually they have mats like around 500 each, and that's it. It feels like they play in arena.
Now we have Vegeta, the guy from over from Fatal Fields,
Yeah, getting
completely massacred.
oh my
yeah.
gosh, and Tajovsky here getting the elimination on him.
In the meantime, Beznikos also got an elim in this fight. Actually, he got the elim on the teammate of Vegeta takes balls. So that was actually quite interesting. Maybe
And
some team play between the two Polish players.
Maybe
Ooh,
just like
from different
sleep
teams.
in the snow.
Oh, well, anyway, it is the first time that we see Tajovsky actively playing right here, actually. So they've not been doing well at all throughout the entire day. But finally he gets a little bit further into the game and sees some action for himself.
Yeah, and Motor and Josh still going strong. They're looking for those aggressive
Look
plays.
at the mats. They finally have
finally they got some elimination, extra elimination. I
I mean,
think.
this is actually like, I don't know, like playing a lottery for them, because they're playing aggressively. They're gonna just completely run down and kill whoever walks into their way, but they can either fight a guy who has 100 mats or a guy who has 1,000 mats, and they eliminated 2 duos with 0 mats and finally found that one, the jackpot,
Yeah,
the 1,000 mats, so they can finally actually do something in this
But
game.
Tajovsky is sitting pretty nicely on mats as well. So and they playing pretty safe. I mean that's why, like, I think that's what frustrates them the most, Monsters and Richards, that they. I think, and that was the plan for them, to play aggressive, but it frustrates them that they can't get the mats because they're trying to get every single alien. But I would get frustrated if I eliminate 1 duo, 2 duos, 3 duos, and I would still no mats. That just. But well, we'll see how it goes right now with them having those materials to play with. Maybe finally they will just like step in, win the game, and try to take the top 1 for now. In the meantime, Degas spamming with the minigun. He's got 500 ammo for the minigun. He can do a lot of damage.
And that's also something that we do not really too often see. Like most of the time we see like 100, maybe 200 ammo for some of these players. And usually towards AR and not light ammo. And right here, minigun with 500 ammo, that's something really strong. And a lot of these players will have to be really careful not to annoy this duo especially.
Especially there is no moving zone, so if he's gonna be in safe position, he can easily
just continue spamming.
Exactly, he
forever.
Yeah.
That's true. In the moving zones, you sometimes are pushed by the storm. You just have to continue.
Yeah.
You just have to build around, turtle some more, and so on. But right here,
yeah, you just
especially if your teammate is with you, you just
yeah,
hold down left click.
It's like you take in the high ground, you stay in one place, and just look down, press the left button, and that's it. In the meantime, Tayoski is just trying to get some extra kills with Javor, and well, I wonder how many points they've got. If they should try to get some aggressive plays, or
I would bet around 10 points for them. This far, I think.
and we're talking, and Dagaspan just eliminated somebody with the minigun.
Yeah.
So he just probably closed the eyes and like, okay, I'm just gonna try shoot randomly.
Yep.
Oh, and they're gonna move towards the zone. And Adogard, he was in the Pleasant Park at the beginning, and they managed to. Jacob, in the meantime, eliminated someone.
That's really interesting. Like in the previous game, Jacob got eliminated probably in Pleasant Park. Right now, they had some contests in Pleasant Park too, and they're getting into the late game.
I wonder if they went to the Pleasant Park though.
That's also a thing. That could have been a little bit different this time around. Maybe after the break they changed their landing spots, as we said. Some people might do that. Some good positioning for Richard and Mozart. Also, like using the low jump pad and nobody hits you, it's just perfect.
Yeah,
You're really happy, you get a good position and you get a swift rotation.
A lot of people underestimate the power of the low jump pad. They always try to get the high jump pad, so they think in the longer they're gonna be in the air, that's gonna be better for them. But usually it's not the case. Usually you're just getting lasered from the sky. In the meantime, I think they're trying to overtake the high ground.
They might be, but they're pretty far away from it actually.
And
that's a junk rift from Mozart, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, and he knocks out the guy.
That's a great junk rift. And what that was a weird from Adogard. And 18 HP, that's not a lot of.
Yeah, he was completely locked up in the storm, just trying to get out of there as quickly as possible. Manages to get into safety, but only for now. Some people are spamming him. People know that he's white too. And, well, Richard and Mozart were playing with junk rifts, and now they get a taste of their own medicine a little bit. But fortunately enough for them, they don't get eliminated.
Yeah, and they play pretty well. They staying on the almost 200 HP, having those decent amount of materials for them at this moment. In the meantime, Phoenix is 2 elimination from Phoenix, which is great for them. They're gonna be more and more safe in the top 1 position. Sky, in the meantime, with his teammate, having 3 elimination together. They as well are on position number 5, I think, in the total.
They're the victors of the previous game, right?
No, they're not.
Wasn't Renault the guy that jumped into the shotgun?
Were they?
His teammate the one who won? I think so.
Maybe. Or maybe you're right. In the meantime,
Adogard actually died, but Dagspan still alive with this minigun of his.
Yeah,
well,
and he's got 600 ammo now for the minigun instead of 500.
Have the teammate to cover him for him though. Like nobody's gonna be building for him, so he won't have so much time to focus on just spamming the enemies. But still looking pretty good. Still could work out very well.
And another junk rift. And
something. Oh, the bubble. I think it might have blocked it.
Yeah, it did. It did. It stopped on the edge of the building right there.
So they have to wait it out. Well, probably a lot of these people are just finding out these interactions, because normally on the arena, like I believe like 90% of these players are just playing the arena. They're not playing the normal modes.
Yeah.
So they're now finding out the interaction like between the bubble and the junk rift, and like additionally, there are the new Batman items.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of new stuff
I
going
mean,
on. for the
Aragonis
players
just
here.
got another 2 eliminations, so he is going pretty strong as well. So we were talking about maybe now he's making the use of the items which he's got from the retail row and getting those placement points and elimination. Finally will pay off.
400 mats on Recharge right here, so even though they had a lot going into this late game actually this time around, they still end up on pretty low mats. It's not bad because we're pretty close to the end of the game already. These are the final zones, but still,
Ooh,
they don't
and
have
the
anything to
jump
try and build up for the high ground if they wanted to contest that.
I think they're looking right now to somebody to just eliminate. I mean, it's 30 people in the zone. It's a huge amount. I think that's the highest amount of players in the zone in all of the games. There's
just
2.
looking for a spot to toss that.
Ooh,
junk
that was
rift
a
in.
scary. Yeah,
A lot of these people's actually waiting with the junk rifts until the very end right now. Sky is gonna get one here with
and
his
another one. And
no elims.
nothing,
No
nothing,
elims this
no.
time around.
yeah, but I think they finally started understanding that they should keep the junk rift just till the end.
Yeah,
Because that's the most efficient way to use them.
that's true. That's true. A lot more players now realizing it, and maybe that's why, with all the players adapting to what they should be playing like, actually we have such a strong late game right now.
Mota still holding on this one, junk rift. Dew is knocked out Erso, so Dew is still alive, and still 25 people in such a small zone.
Yeah. This is the first time that we actually see Dew get
And
into a
matches
late
as
game.
well.
Oh, they're both alive.
Right.
Wow. Now Dew gets knocked out. And another junk rift right there, but they do
still,
not get any elims or knocks. Actually, no.
Mosash just
But he
eliminated.
did.
Yes, it's just such a. Oh my god,
Gets
there's
one,
so
gets
much
two,
happening
gets a
right
third
now.
one right now and pushes
Course.
that guy through too. And well, that's gonna be
6
beautiful.
elims
Yeah,
for the
previously it was Richard who had 9 elims and Motash on 0. Now Motash is gonna be the one that's gonna show everybody how strong he is with 6 right here.
And I love how what Motash did. He had the junk rift going on, and he just ran instantly towards the zone to just avoid the junk rift dropping on him. In the meantime, Phoenix still alive, 3 HP, and he just
He jumps into Asami, and that's another new face that we didn't
Yeah.
really get to see
So it's
too much.
Motash against the Asami. Will he survive? I think Asami had only like 40 HP, so I think he should be safe.
be
And
the one to win.
congratulations, Mosash finally stepping up, win 6 elimination. I wonder how many recharges got.
We didn't get to see at all, but
But that's gonna be a close game to be a top 1.
yeah.
I don't think so. It's gonna be top 1.
But they were
but-
top 8 after the previous one, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, 7, top 7, top 8,
Yeah,
something like
something
that.
around that.
But Phoenix was still what? Phoenix was top 3 this game, or top 4.
He was still getting a lot of eliminations
Yeah.
by the ending, yeah. So,
So-
definitely the first place is out of reach, I would say.
Yeah, but I think they,
But they will get a lot
yeah, they will.
close.
With this game, they're very close to be just in top 10 overall.
We see some happy players right
Yeah.
here at the end.
I mean, I haven't even won, but he still is.
Yeah, that's true.
What's
that's,
going on?
That's what I'm talking about. Like, you don't have to win. Just this difference between having the first place and the second is not
Yeah.
so big.
But
So-
he seems so excited. I wonder what happened there.
Well, we don't know exactly what his nickname is. Maybe that would have made anything clear. But maybe he's Asami. Maybe he's a guy who wasn't really able to do anything throughout the entire day, but now gets such an amazing game in.
Yeah, and I feel sorry for Phoenix with this impulse and just flying straight under the crosser of Asami. He must have feel bad for himself. Like, imagine just thinking that you are safe for a second, just to next second just die, like just implode inside.
But it was the same for Novo in the first game of the day. He just impulsed into a laser, 2 headshots from a legendary assault rifle.
And that's our first scare bit at the beginning when Kukta eliminated the duo.
Yep.
Now we've got the
The
encounter.
mech fight, yeah, so his teammate actually got eliminated right there because one of the guys from the Brood jumped out and he was the one to knock him. So it was not a random situation, and they've just ran the other guy down.
But I love how
Yeah, I think this was the kill that gave Mozart and Richard the mats, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so, yeah, because they didn't kill they didn't eliminate the guy. They just picked up some
Yep.
stuff from the random guy. But this ending was just so nice, and I think that was the best ending ever. I mean, not ever, but in this tournament.
Yeah, definitely in this tournament, yeah, for sure.
Because there was finally the huge amount of players where they were just collapsing on each other. It was just fun to watch.
Yeah, and as I said, this was a very balanced kind of terrain for the end game, actually.
And
it
this
was not just one big mountain, so the people who have in shockwave grenades will win over the people who don't have them. There were some little hills, some ups and downs, some trees and stuff like that, but nothing too horrible. And it was not also just a flat spot like where the football stadium used to be.
Yeah.
Because we also had an end game like that in the 5th game, if I'm not mistaken. So that was completely flat, and there was nothing to it.
Yeah.
But it was an interesting zone, an interesting terrain, and we got a very